Pakistan is facing growing turbulence in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The anger is escalating. Pakistan is rattled. The protests have now turned deadly and the government is under intense pressure over allegations of neglect and betrayal. In Rawalkot, at least 2 people have been reported dead, several others injured after security forces launched a crackdown on the protesters. According to the local groups, including the JAAC, the crackdown started after the protesters were staging a sit-in protest. The committee claiming that nearly a dozen young protesters were injured in what they describe as excessive use of force and intense shelling to break up the demonstrations. Reports also suggest mobile communication lines were disrupted during the clashes, which led to further escalation of tensions on the ground. And amid the unrest, the Pakistan People's Party has written to the Election Commission. They are seeking a withdrawal of the election schedule for the 12 migrant seats. And the party chairman has condemned the use of force against the protesters, but has stopped short of actually accepting the demands to scrap the controversial reserved seats in the assembly. And the reserved seats will basically allow Islamabad to install loyalists and dilute the local representation in the polls. The fear of all of this is also further fueling discontent on the streets, and the anger is palpable. It's not just limited to these areas. Thousands of British Kashmiris in London as well took to the streets from the Parliament Square to Trafalgar Square. They are protesting against the crackdown and calling for a revolution against Pakistani forces in the region. And this unrest coming in the backdrop of Pakistan's worrying economic survey. The numbers are deeply concerning. Incomes are falling, poverty is rising, food consumption is declining, and for the first time in history, households are buying less wheat and less meat. And the biggest warning sign, household income. Real monthly household income has fallen from 35,454 Pakistani rupees in 2019 to 31,127 rupees in FY 2025. That's a 12% decline in real purchasing power in just 6 years. At the same time, the survey is showing households are buying less wheat, less meat, a signal again that families are cutting back on basic food consumption. Income inequality, meanwhile, has also worsened, with the gap between the rich and the poor reaching its highest level in decades. Our next story is about a fallen Indian mountaineer. For 30 years, he has remained on the slopes of Mount Everest, and now India is planning a daring mission to bring him home. What's the story here? The Indo-Tibetan Border Police is set to launch one of its most challenging Everest recovery operations ever. The task is basically to retrieve the remains of Lance Naik Dorje Morup, who disappeared during the 1996 Everest disaster. Here's a detailed report.
3 decades after his disappearance on Everest, Lance Naik Dorje Morup may finally return home. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police has floated a tender to hire a specialized high-altitude recovery agency for the mission. Morup's remains are believed to be lying at an altitude of about 27,700 feet on Everest's northern slope in Tibet. The location is deep inside the mountain's notorious death zone, where oxygen levels are too low to sustain human life for long. The recovery operation is planned between June and September 2026. It will require a team of at least 6 highly experienced Nepali Sherpas with expertise in technical body recovery above 8,000 meters. The selected agency will also have to secure permissions from Chinese authorities in Tibet. arrange transport of the remains through Nepal, complete legal formalities and ensure proper preservation of the body exposed to extreme conditions for nearly 30 years. Dorje Morup was among 3 ITBP climbers who disappeared during the deadly 1996 Everest expedition. On May 10th, Subedar Sevang Samanla, Lance Naik Dorje Morup and Head Constable Sevang Paljor pushed for the summit despite worsening weather. A fierce blizzard soon engulfed the mountain and none of the 3 climbers returned to the camp. The tragedy became part of the infamous 1996 Everest disaster. It still remains one of the deadliest seasons in the mountain's history. Over the years, a body near the northeast ridge route became a well-known landmark for climbers and was popularly known as Green Boots. The name was given due to the distinctive green mountaineering boots visible on the remains. Recovering a body from the death zone is considered one of the most dangerous tasks in mountaineering. The mission will expose rescuers to extreme risks including avalanches, storms, falls and severe oxygen deprivation. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Shifting focus for now, a legal battle over one of Britain's most iconic Indian restaurants is heading to court. Britain's oldest Indian restaurant and a landmark of Indian cuisine in London now reportedly facing eviction from the address that it has occupied for nearly a century now. The dispute basically has put the future of that historic institution on one of London's most prestigious shopping and commercial districts under a cloud of uncertainty. The Central London County Court will reportedly begin a 5-day hearing on the 29th of June to decide the fate and also its premises at Victory House, where the restaurant has operated since the year 1926. The Michelin-starred restaurant attracts royalty, celebrities, politicians, business leaders, Winston Churchill, Charlie Chaplin, Queen Elizabeth II, Jordan's King Abdullah, among the many who have dined there. The Crown Estate reportedly refuses to renew its approximately $277,000 a year lease after it expired last summer, reportedly. However, the restaurant has remained open because of the ongoing legal proceedings, and the Crown Estate reportedly says it needs possession of the building to carry out a major refurbishment of the upper floor offices and create a larger reception area that could generate higher rental income. Veeraswamy has reportedly proposed sharing the new entrance and has also offered to match the rents that the Crown Estate believes it can earn from the office tenants. But the landlord reportedly has rejected both the proposals. The court's verdict will now determine whether a nearly 100-year-old symbol of Indian cuisine can continue operating from its historic London home. Shifting focus, Russia has launched its heaviest attack across Ukraine in 2 weeks. Caught in the firestorm is the 1,000-year-old monastery in Kiev. And while Ukraine blames Russia, Moscow has dismissed the attack on the crucial religious site, calling it a crude fake. And the attack coming as Poland questions Nazi worship in the Ukrainian capital. Here's a detailed report.
Kyiv is under siege. Russian drones and missiles roar across the Ukrainian skies. Explosions rock busy streets. Residents run for life as glowing debris falls across the city. This is Moscow's heaviest attack on Kyiv in a fortnight. Ukraine is facing its darkest hour. Russia has unleashed a barrage of 611 drones, 70 missiles in overnight blitz. The unrelenting Russian strikes have sparked a blaze at a 1,000-year-old monastery in Kyiv. Kyiv-Pechersk Lavra, located in the heart of Kyiv, is one of the country's most treasured religious and cultural landmarks. The monastery holds huge significance for Orthodox believers in both Ukraine and Russia. Apart from striking one of Christendom's holiest sites, Ukraine claims Russia targeted the Arsenal Cultural Exhibition Center and one of the capital's main postal hubs, severing a vital artery of civilian life. Reports suggest Moscow used Zircon hypersonic cruise missiles, KH-101 cruise missiles and Shahid drones to strike Kyiv. The deadly Russian assault has left residents in shock and anger.
Honestly, I am outraged. This is a holy site. They also claim that it is their holy site. You must not strike a sacred place, especially since the Kyiv-Pechersk Lavra is, so to speak, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is horrifying.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who inspected damage to historic Kyiv monastery, claims 2 Russian drones deliberately targeted Lavra. He says Moscow doesn't want to end the war.
Before G7 started, be honest, we gave message that we are ready to meet with Putin during G7 because Trump is there and Macron is there, Starmer and Merz. So Europeans plus America, this is a good, I think, very good opportunity to meet all together, and that's why we could be able to invite Russian side, and the Europe and the United States was agree, and Russia demonstrated again that they are not ready to speak about peace.
But Russian military has a different story to tell. It says it carried out a massive strike on military sites in Kyiv, Kharkiv and Dnipro, but denies targeting the Lavra. Moscow claims the UNESCO World Heritage Site was hit by an outdated US Patriot air defense missile. The fresh strikes comes a day after Zelensky said he had spoken to US President Donald Trump and has discussed efforts to achieve a peace deal ahead of the G7 meeting in France. As fighting rages on the ground, Russia says that it is committed to Trump's peace proposal and awaits its implementation.
We are committed to the agreements reached on August 15th of last year in Alaska. President Putin has repeatedly stated that he accepted President Trump's proposal, and we certainly expect that the position agreed upon based on the American proposal will be implemented. We expect another visit from Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner in the foreseeable future.
But the Russian attack drew significant and widespread global condemnation.
Russia showed the extent of its cruelty by massively striking the capital Kyiv. For us French, would be the equivalent of bombing Notre Dame or Saint Denis, something that is obviously unacceptable.
Russia has intensified its onslaught against Ukraine. It vows to continue fighting if peace is not struck on its terms. With G7 leaders meeting in France, the big question is, will there be a path to peace? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.